Hi, how are you doing? Welcome to today's lesson. We're going to be looking at factorizing quadratics. Now this is quite an important one because you need to be able to do this in order to solve quadratic equations. Okay, alright, so factorizing quads. Now I've done this a little bit in the solving quadratic equations video, but let's look at it in much more detail. Now what we need to do is, if a quadratic is of the form ax squared plus bx plus c, okay, so I'm not looking at a quadratic equation where it equals to something, I'm just looking at the quadratic like that, okay. What I have to do is I have to find factors of a and c that combine to give me b, okay, so factors of a and c that combine to give me b, okay. We're going to start off easy, we're going to start off without a c. And then I'm going to do a completely separate video, without an A. Without an A, so where A is 1. But then I'm going to do a completely separate video on where A is not 1. Because it gets slightly more tricky as soon as you have to look at different factors of A. Alrighty, so let's give this a shot. Right, so the first one, e.g., I'm looking at x squared plus 3x plus 2. Okay, so here's my thinking behind it. I was thinking to myself, I'm going to start using this now, even though it's only really going to come into play when I start having an A in there. But I want to get into the habit. So I'm thinking to myself, what is the factors, remember there's an invisible 1 there, what is the factors of the x squared coefficient, and then what are the factors of c, right? Which in this case is 2. Okay. Well, the factors of x squared coefficient is just 1 and 1, right? Factors of 1, or 1 and 1. The factors of 2 are 2 and 1. 2 and 1. So because this is the same, I don't really have to worry about how they get combined, okay? 1 times 2 is 2, so I'm doing this. 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 1 is 1. Alright? And I said, okay, great. So that's the multiplication that gives me those 2. How do I combine these two to get 3? Well, I would like plus 2 plus 1. Does that make sense? Positive 2 and positive 1 gives me positive 3. Listen to how I'm saying it, okay? I think that the way that I say it helps a lot to understand what you're actually doing. Okay, so, right, let's take a look at this. Well, what are my factors of x? X and x, alright? They always break up. If you want to write them in there, you're welcome to until you get comfortable. This is invisible 1x and invisible 1x, okay? Now, what are my factors of c? Well, because 1 is repeated, I don't have to worry about where these factors go, it goes 2 and 1, okay? Now I want it to be positive 2 and positive 1, so I make it positive 2 and positive 1. Alright, you with me? Fantastic. Pretty straightforward. That's it. Done. Normally we don't write in these invisible ones, and that's the end of the story. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Right. Another one is x squared. Let's fix this. e.g. 2. Right? So x squared plus 3x minus 4. X squared plus 3x minus 4. Okay, so again, let's look at the factors of this. So I'm looking at the factors of these two. I'm looking at the factors of x squared, which is 1, right? Which is just 1 and 1, for now. Okay, but get into the habit of this. Now I'm looking at the factors of 4. Now, don't worry about the sign yet. The factors of 4 are 1 and 4, that's important, and 2 and 2. So I've got two options. I've got two groups of factors. I either have 1 and 4 or I have 2 and 2. So now I have to decide, how are they going to combine to give me 3? Well, I hope you're all shouting, so use 1 and 4, use 1 and 4. But let's look at if I had to use 2 and 2 first. If I did 2 and 2, if I did 1 times 2 gives me 2, 1 times 2 gives me 2. Well, my only options are either 2 plus 2 is 4, or 2 minus 2 is 0. So 2 and 2 gives me 4 or nothing. 4 or 0. So 2 and 2 is not going to work with 1 and 1. So I can actually cross that guy out. So my only option is this. 1 times 1 and 1 times 4. So 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 4 is 4. And I stop. And I say, great. I want now to be positive 3. Okay? It has to be positive 3. How do I combine 1 and 4 to make positive 3? Well, if I do positive 4 and negative 1, I will get positive 3. 4 minus 1. You with me? Okay. So now we're finished basically. Factors of x, factors of x squared I should say, 1x and 1x, okay? And then factors of 4, you don't really have to worry about the order yet. Factors of 4 are 4 and 1. I want it to be -1 and +4, so I would like it to be -1 and +4. Everyone with me? Okie dokie. The only one I want you to be careful of, I've spoken about this in Factorizing Quadratics as well. Not Factorizing Quadratics, Solving Quadratics. Okay? E.g. The one that you must be careful of, if I've only got a quadratic with two terms, so not 3 terms, 1, 2, 3, but only 1, 2. The most I can do in this case is taking out a common factor. Okay? So the most I can do is say, okay, they've both got an x, so I can pull out an x, and what's left over? X, and what's left over? Plus 10. Alright? That's the most I can do. So just be careful of when you have a quadratic with 2 terms. Alright, okay. Now, I want to show you a trick. Well, if you've watched how to solve quadratic equations, you'll know this trick, because I've shown it on there. However, I want to show it on factorizing, because it actually pertains to factorizing. Okay. Here's the idea. If I've got x squared plus bx plus c, right? These signs tell me a lot about the signs in the bracket. If this is a positive, right, that means the signs are the same. The reason why they're the same is because a positive times a positive is a positive, and a negative times a negative is also a positive. Okay? Alright. In my integer story, wait, I'll get there, I want to tell you that story. If it's a negative, that means the signs are different. Alright? Because that positive times a negative is a negative. Now, here's my story. Clowns are happy, Kung Fu masters are happy, but if you give a Kung Fu master a black eye, he would be sad. Okay? I know it's silly, man. Okay, so, now this sign. This sign goes to the biggest combo. Okay, the biggest combination. Now, right now, because we don't have an A, because A is 1, we don't have to worry about the biggest combo. Okay, when you get to a place where A is not 1, then you're going to have to worry about the biggest combination. Right now, it's just going to go to the biggest number. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So, e.g., let's take a look at this one. X squared minus 3x minus 28. Oh yeah, 28. Wow. Right, so let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at my factors. So my factors of x squared is 1 and 1, my numerical factors. I'm not worried about the variable factors, okay? So my factors of the coefficient of x squared, which is 1 and 1. My factors of 28. Don't worry about the sign. 28, well, okay. Well, 28 is 1 and 28. You always have to consider that one, all right? 2 and 14, you with me? 4 and 7, okay? And that's it. Right, so 1 and 28, 2 and 14, and 4 and 7. 5 doesn't go into 28, 6 doesn't go into 28, and I meet 7 again, and I'm going back up. Are you with me? You only have to go till you meet. Okay. Right, so now, the combo is 1 times anything, so it's not going to change. So all I have to look at is which of these are going to combine to give me 3. And you should all be shouting at me, use the last one, but let's just go through them. 1 and 28 either gives me 29 or 27. Not going to work. You with me? 2 and 14 either gives me 16 or 12. Right, not going to work. 4 and 7 either gives me 11, 4 plus 7, or 3. Are you with me? So this is the one I'm going to use. I'm not going to worry about how they combine yet, because I'm going to use this trick. So this is x, 4, x, 7. Alright, order doesn't matter. The order really doesn't matter whether A is 1. Okay, so let's take a look at this. This sign is negative. Negative says signs are different. It doesn't say they're negative, it says they're different. Okay, that's all. This sign here goes to the biggest combo, or the biggest number. So if the signs are different, that has to go to the biggest number. Well, that's the biggest. The 7 is the biggest, right? Signs are different. That has to be that one. Done. Okay. Seems a little long-winded at first, but I promise you it speeds things up a heck of a lot. Okay. Let me show you how it speeds it up, because I'm going to use it here on the next one. E.g., x squared minus 7 plus 12. X squared minus 7x plus 12. Okay? Going to go a little bit faster here. Alright? So, factors of 1 are 1 and 1, right? Don't really need to worry about them, but get into the habit of doing this. Alright? Factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4, and then we meet again. Okay, so I don't have to bother anymore. Right? So, you should be all shouting, use 3 and 4, but let's just double check. Right, 1 and 12, 13 or 11, doesn't work. Right? 2 and 6, 8 or 4, doesn't work. 3 and 4, 7 or 1. You with me? So 3 and 4 is the one I want. Okay, so let's plonk it in here. x3, x4. Right? You with me still? This sign is positive, so it says the signs are the same. This sign is negative, so it says take it to the biggest one. So that's negative. But if the signs are the same, that must also be negative. You with me with that? Great, huh? Cool. I don't have any more space. Okay, let's do one more. I'm going to take this guy away and just do it up here, right in the middle of the board. I hope you're following, otherwise it might be a little confusing. Okay, so last one, e.g. These are really fun when you get used to them, and when you start getting good at them, you're getting them correct. So, x squared plus 9x plus 8. Okay? So again, I'm going to look at our factors. Factors of the 1 are 1 and 1. Factors of the 8 are 1 and 8, 2 and 4. 3 doesn't go into, 4 meets again. Okay? So, should all be shouting me now. Use 1 and 8, that'll give you 9. 2 and 4 will either give me 6 or 2. Wouldn't work. Okay? So I've got x1, x8. Okay? You all with me? And now that sign tells me the signs are the same. This one goes to the biggest one. Plus 8, plus 1. D-U-double-N. Done. By the way, that's not how you spell done. Anyway. Okay, so go find more of these. You've got to do a lot. You've got to get used to them. This actually gets really, really quick and quite fun when you get used to it. You've got to do a whole bunch of them when A is 1. Alright? When A is 1. Because on the next video, I'm going to look at when A is not 1. And it makes this slightly more complicated, but then more challenging, more exciting to do. Alrighty? There's more on the other video, there's more on the blog, yada yada, you know what to do. Remember, I'm here for you.